Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 13th of August 2021 and the time now is 6:16 a.m. Well, today our topic is a deeper discussion of how to learn something and this is actually a video review. Alright, so before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Alright, so here we go. Okay. Yeah, so from this video, yeah, actually I found that um, from the audience sit and there are many people, and actually some of them they just sat there and then without showing any emotions, and they didn't, like they also didn't move and then just sat there quietly and watch and listen. They also didn't claps or what. And then yeah, for here I think people are waiting for something like very amazing, very uh, different, and then out of our expectation. Yeah, but yeah, actually for this one, 20 hours is the time that speaker said for for us to take to learn something, to learn almost anything. And then, yeah, because he also, the speaker did many research and then tried to find out uh, how long we need to take to learn something. And then initially the figure like 10,000 hours, which is very, very long. And then he found that, yeah, actually not not to have 10,000 hours, um, 20 hours can make us to learn something, and I think it's at the beginning level. Yeah, just be the beginner in doing something. And then he said that for 10,000 hours, that is for a higher level, a higher level, which is something like the expert level. Yeah. So at the end, learn a thing if you want to learn uh, in deep, and then still we need time. Uh, yeah, and then even though I think from this video I still can get something which may be useful. And the first one is in starting to learn something, we could try to break the thing that we learn into smaller parts, and each part um, is like in different category. Yeah, and then after we break into smaller parts, and then it's the time for us to identify what we want to learn. Yeah, and then after we have decided and then we know what we want to learn, we choose those we want instead of focus on everything. Yeah, so for this part, maybe it's useful for to start learning something, because many of the time when we start learning something, we kind of don't know where to start. And then yeah, if we keep these uh, rules in mind, I think it is quite good. Yeah, to break them into smaller parts to identify what we want to learn. And then the next point is to learn until we can use it to self-learning, or to self correct ourselves. Yeah, for this one, I think this is one of the point, important point in this video. And to spend 20 hours, the purpose of this is to is to obtain this ability. Yeah, to learn until we can self-improve the next time, and then we can correct some of the things that we have learned to make it more perfect. Yeah, and then um, the next one is the key 20 hours. Yeah, for this one, I think it's also somehow useful. Yeah, maybe not for all skills. Maybe it's for some uh, uh, common skill or ability. 20 hours is a something like a reference for us uh, to consider before we start learning something. And this is linked to the last point, which is also important, is that the speaker want to point out something that at the end of his video, which is emotion is a big obstacle, and sometimes it's even bigger than, I mean, the obstacle even bigger than the technical thing. Yeah, and by having the reference of 20 hours to learn a thing in mind, I think it's somehow useful. Yeah, because sometimes before we learn something, we would think that would be very difficult for me, and I don't have any uh, talent on this particular thing. I'm not gifted, and then it's maybe we will think that we may need a very long time to learn it, and then we may not able to learn it. Maybe after that we fail. This kind of emotion obstacle, yeah, is a big issues. And uh, yeah, so maybe to learn something, firstly we need to um, maybe ask ourselves whether we really want to learn it, and then second is if you decided want to learn it and you want to uh, give yourself times. For example, for here, to learn for the basic thing, give ourselves 20 hours and then put it into action, maybe uh, half an hour a day, and then we may need 40 days. So it's something like more than a month to learn it. And then also break the thing we want to learn into smaller parts and then focus on those we want to learn. Yeah, so yeah, I think this for this video basically it is for learning a new thing and not for learning something that we are already have the ability to self-learning, self-correct ourselves. And for those things that we have learned and we want to uh, become better in at doing it, um, yeah, maybe we can talk about something like which appear in the Atomic Habits book, which is the something like a learning curve, and then we have the time we need to spend, and then and the skill that we acquire. Um, yeah, it will looks like quite steep at the beginning, and maybe in the first 20 hours it's even steeper, and then after that the curve become more and more flat sorry, flatter and flatter, and then after some point we call it the plateau, which is almost flat, and maybe we spend a lot of time and we still haven't got significant improvement. Yeah, and then to uh, if we continue to do that, and then yeah, maybe one day we will break the plateau and then go to another level. Yeah, so yeah, for here I think also emotion is a big thing to overcome, and then it is good for us to have some mental preparation or some expectation with regard to times, the times that required for us to reach our destination, to reach our goal. Yeah. Right. So I think these are my sharings today.
Yeah, from this video, I think there are two implications in my opinion. First is you can learn anything that you want to
Mm,
learn. Yeah, and this is this is and very important. This is a very important lesson that I found by using my way,
mm,
my life. Yeah, really, you can learn anything that you want to learn. You just need time. Just take time. It just take effort. It just take your energy.
yeah.
You can learn anything that you want to learn. And the second is, no matter how struggle you feel and how many obstacles you face, the amount of time that you can see the result, or the amount of the time that that you spend in order to see the result from your learning is much under your estimation and your expectation. In this case, in the video, is
Mm,
21 hours. Yeah. So no matter how struggle and how you feel, for
yeah.
example, you are learning a guitar, you are learning a piano, you are learning something else. For example, you are learning coding,
Mm,
programming. Initially, you may feel very difficult. You may face a lot of obstacle. Let's say the programming, you don't have much computer skill,
mm,
computer uh, knowledge. So you don't even know how to set up the environment
mm,
for you to use the Python, how to set up the computer in order to install the Pythons or other thing. Or maybe you face some obstacle when you try to install and then you face some problem that didn't mention from the guide, from the tutorial. So you
yeah.
need to find another tutorial. You need to find the problem by yourself.
Mm,
Yeah. And when you start to code, you may also face some problem that the tutorial didn't face.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
yeah. This also could be the problem.
Yeah.
Mm. And then you need to find out what is the reasons and how to solve it, how to get the same result that the tutorial able to uh, able to able to get.
Mm,
Mm. Yeah. So, but no matter how struggle you feel and how many obstacles you face, eventually you'll see the result at the shorter times that uh that compare with your expectation and your estimation. Mm.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, it
Do you
might take
20 hours? Shorter than 20 hours?
not necessary. May some people may longer than that, some people may shorter than that, and it depends on the task you are trying to learn. Mm.
Yeah.
For example, if you ask your mother to learn programming, do you think she can she can just spend 21 hours in order to learn how to program?
Yeah, maybe she can use 20 hours to learn how uh, to learn the basic skill uh, in using the computer.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends, and it depends mm, your starting point. Mm.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, but the times you need is really shorter than your imagination. Maybe you think I couldn't learn it. No matter how many times, how much time I spend in, I couldn't learn it. This is
Mm,
not this is not the gift that God give me. I'm not talented. Yeah, but eventually, you are able to learn it. You are able to use it. Just like the English, um, one uh 1 years and 4 months ago, we just
mm,
start the English conversation, and at that time, our English conversation ability is really, really weak.
Mm.
But look at
Yeah.
now, we can speak quite smooth, and we can discuss a lot of different topics.
Yeah.
And this is something that we couldn't imagine at that time. Yeah.
Mm.
And we didn't see the result until now. We see the result 1 month after that.
Mm.
1 month after we start the conversation, 2 months
Yeah.
after we start the conversation. Yeah, or even 2 weeks after we start the conversation.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the implication that I want to mention. Yeah. So um the the time you need to spend is under your expectation. Yeah, of course you may overestimate the result. Yeah, this is the bias for people, because we all want to like spend uh make a little investments and then we can get a big returns.
Mm.
But this is not all the case, and most of the time this is not the case. Yeah, it's not the case.
Mm.
We need to we need to we need to invest more in order to get more.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is something like the dollar cost averaging. You need to keep investing. You need to keep put in the money, so you can get the returns. You can get high returns. So in learning is you keep invest your time, energy, effort, so that you can get the greater returns.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So by combining these two implications, just like what you say, yeah, this is a video that try to solve the beginner learning problems, which they're afraid to learn something new.
Mm.
Yeah, but if you have but you already have some experience, and you know that you can learn anything that you want to learn, then you are not afraid of learning new things.
Mm. Yeah.
You know it just takes time. And of course, you will consider whether this is uh, whether whether it is this whether it's something that you have to spend time to learn. Mm. Is it worth for learning? Is it worth for investment? Just like you're investing a stock, you also will you also will evaluate whether the company will worth to make an investment. Learning is also the same. There are so many things you can learn, but
Mm.
which one you want to learn? There are
Yeah.
so many books you can read, but which book you want to read?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is for the begin. This is for the beginning. Yeah. But we have to admit that sometimes, and it's most of the time. Normally, it's most of the time we don't we don't appreciate, and we don't we don't glad the returns that we don't glad the returns of the result that we get, that we see from the beginning stage,
Mm.
and we want more, but we don't want to invest more.
Yeah.
Just like, for example, the guitar in the video, the example, yeah, the speaker can play very well for the particular song, yeah,
Mm.
for the particular song. But how about I change the song? Can he play? Can he play well again? He couldn't. He
Yeah.
couldn't if he just spent 21 hours. Start from zero. Start from uh, you don't have any experience on the musical instruments before. For example, if you have learned piano, if you have learned guitar, and then if you want to learn the ukulele, then it will be easier. Yeah, but it's not. You start from zero. You have zero knowledge. You have zero experience
Mm.
of the musical instruments. So your starting point really zero. But you can, yeah, of course you can use a very little time, maybe 21 hours, maybe 48 hours, maybe 36 hours in order to learn a song. Yeah, yeah, you can learn that. But how about if you change a song? Yeah, you still need time. You still need time. Yeah, but of course the times you need would be lesser. Maybe initially you need 26 hours. So maybe initially you need 36 hours. Now you need 24 hours.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
then
skill accumulated, right, from the previous learning.
yeah, and during the past, your learning curve is will will present like an exponential growth. Yeah. And this exponential growth is because from your learning you discovered some general rules, some law, some nature, and also some of the similarity. Yeah. And then you link them together so you can help. So you can help in your learning. So in short, this is you found something common. Yeah. For example, uh, okay, okay. For example, mm, okay. Let's say you want to code, you want to learn how to program, and then you need to know the basic of the programming language, and then you need to know the loop, how to write a loop. Like the in Python is while true or for I in range. Yeah. And also you need to learn how to write the recursions. Recursion is 递归. And you need to know how to use a variable, how to define the variable, and you need to know how to write an if, how to write a logical statement. And this is the basic. After you learn that, after you know how to do it, after you master the basic, and you can you can do whatever you want to do by using the programming language. But if you want to go to a higher level, which is how to write a clean code, uh, how to make the code more efficient, how to achieve the highest efficiency of the code. So you won't spend like 1 day in order to run the code, but other people just need to spend 5 seconds. You can get the result, but you need to spend 1 day.
Yeah.
You need to spend 1 day after you run the code. You need to wait the program because your code is too long. Your code is totally inefficient. So you need to spend a lot of time. But other people can write a code, can write a very clean code. So uh, they uh, they just need a very very short time. So they are able to get the result. Yeah. So this is another level. Yeah. Yeah, of course, the basics is also not easy. But after you learn that, after you acquire a skill, you are able to do more things. You are able to do more things, so that your learning curve is exponentially grow at this time. And then after a stage, the second stage, which is uh you need a great you need more accumulations. Maybe you need more knowledge about the computer knowledge, about how the computer works and how the Python works. What is the fundament of the code? What is the fundament of the logic? So that you know which which kind of methods can offer you a greater efficiency. Yeah, which kind of code you should use. how to write the code, and how to achieve a thing that you previously couldn't achieve, maybe because of the efficiency problem, or maybe because you don't know how to do it. Yeah. So at this time, it takes more time. And the percentage of the improvement is not that great compared to from 0 to the beginning stage. And from beginning stage to intermediate, the percentage of growth is not that significant, but actually the growth in absolute amount is greater, but the percentage is lesser. So give you an example. For example, if the stock price rise from 1 to 10, this is 900% gain from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
This is 900% gain. Yeah. So how much the stock price rise? 99. Actually, 90. Actually, it's 9. Yeah, 1 to 10 is 9. Yeah. And now, if you want the stock price rise from 10 to 50, how many gain in percentage it was? It's 400%. But in absolute terms, how much the stock price rise from 10 to 50 is 40. Yeah, in absolute terms, this is greater than the 9, but in percentage, it is lesser. Yeah. Yeah. So this is how it work, and this is also how the learning curve work. Yeah. Initially, it's exponential growth. But after that, the growth in percentage, the growth rate is reducing, but in absolute terms, it's increasing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the key point here is how many times, how many effort, how many energy we need in order to learn, in order to acquire a skill that allow us to use and allow us to monitorize. Yeah. To monitorize or make or to use this to I cannot say to able to use, but able to utilize a skill. Able to utilize the skill to gain the benefit from it. So, for example, you can teach. Let's say you are not a teacher and you can teach students, and from 0 to the beginning stage, it's very easy. You just know what's the key point, and then you explain to them. So it's very easy. But how about the intermediate level? How about the advanced level? Can you become teacher by having the beginning teaching skill? So this is the key point. And many people couldn't determine until that point.
Yeah.
So this is also something that you have mentioned, which is the plateau. Yeah. And I believe many people, after they watch this video and then they try to learn something, they can see some little result. But they didn't satisfy that result because they couldn't utilize it, they couldn't monitorize it, and then this is like one additional skill. But the one additional skill didn't contribute their overall competitive advantage.
Yeah.
So so this is my thought about this about this topic. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, in short, in summary, you it takes time. It takes time to learn something. There's no shortcut.
Mm. Yep. Yeah, and also yeah, to me I feel like to learn a thing and then uh it takes time, right? And then the time and the effort that we pay is something like the cost of investment. And then yeah, sometimes we before we learn it, we may kind of um, to imagine to imagine how good it will be after we learn it. And then at that maybe at that moment we feel like, oh wow, I I uh, I definitely will be very happy after I learn something. And yeah, I'm not saying to the very expert level, just for the something like the beginning, become a beginner. Yeah, and but after that, if we really started to put in effort, spend times doing it, learning it, and after that, maybe after 20 hours, let's say, we have learned it, and by that moment, actually, we are not so exciting as before learning it. I think it's because the time effort we spend in it, and also is the time frame is longer, and maybe the kind of pleasure uh, has been spread along the time. Um, and actually, maybe at that time you have learned it, and maybe you won't feel any you won't feel excited. Yeah, you just feel, oh yeah, this is something that uh, I should have I should have learned because I have spent such a long time. And then yeah, I think this is one of my feeling actually for learning some things. For example, speaking English, and then of course I'm happy, but this kind of happy is not as much as before uh, I can acquire the skill. Yeah, that we have invest in something, so the feeling will be different.
Mm.
Yeah. So I don't know whether you have this kind of feeling also.
Yeah, sure. And it's also the part of self-esteem. Initially, it depends on external factor. It depends. It depends on the outcome. You are able to see the approval. Yeah, yeah. Maybe you think, yeah, it's not approval because uh when you speak English, other people didn't appraise you. Other people didn't give you a crap, but they are able to listen. They know what you want to say,
Yeah.
what you are
Mm.
trying to say. So this is also an approval.
Mm. Yep.
For example, if you if you say something that other people dislike, then you will get the disapproval. If you say something that other people like to hear, you'll get the approval.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So this approval doesn't mean that you necessarily need to get the appraisal. It's not the case.
Mm. Yes.
So the approval can just can just based on the outcomes. Mm.
Mm.
So at the beginning stage, we are the uh, 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 we have the dependent self-esteem. But after sometimes it become interdependent because we no longer care because we already can speak it smooth. Mm. And in this case, we want to improve. We still want to improve ourselves. We still want to learn more.
Yeah.
Uh, but 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 now we no longer care. Yeah, how other people think on our essence or our grammar. Yeah,
Mm.
maybe we still, or maybe we still care. Maybe we still care. Yeah, but it is not. But this is not the main point. This is not the main point for us to keep continue to learn.
Mm.
Mm. And if you just if you want to learn English conversation, it's because you don't want to make any mistake. You don't want to speak any weird accents. You want to speak the very, very formal accents and zero English mistake. And you are always in the dependent self-esteem.
Mm.
Yeah. And this is the perfectionism. It's a perfectionism.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it uh yeah, it will just make you feel stressed, and you won't get a happiness from the process. Yeah.
Yeah.
But but if you think this is a process for learning, this is a process of enjoying. Yeah. Then you won't care about that. You just
Yeah.
improve yourself. You keep improving yourself. And yeah, maybe your goal is still the same. You want to become and you want to speak like the native speakers. But the focus is not the same.
Mm.
Native speakers can also make grammar mistake. Native
Yeah.
speakers will also have their own accents. Yeah.
Mm.
But one difference is they can speak very smooth, and maybe their vocabulary is very huge.
Yeah.
So, mm, and also they can understand. They can listen to what other people say,
Mm.
and maybe you couldn't. Maybe at the beginning level you couldn't understand what an Indian uh, uh, the English speak by an Indian.
Mm.
But if you are native speakers and you are able to understand what an Indian trying to say,
Yeah.
the accent is very strong.
Mm.
It's very the pronunciation is very ambiguous. But if you are native speaker, you are able to know. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. So uh yeah the goal is the same. The goal is the same, but what thing you are focused on? Are you focused on you want to fix a problem? You want to avoid your mistakes, or you want to improve yourself? You want to become the type of person. Mm,
Mm. Yep. Yep. And then yeah, just now you also mentioned about the Indian accent. For this one, I think is quite interesting because actually they have separate uh, Indian accent of English, and then something like make it into one accent, and they are not treating Indian accent as something improper or or not good, and then I think they treat it as one of the accents already,
mm,
and yeah, for in the future, I think because in China and many other countries, especially China, China is a very big market, and you can see just based on their population. And in the future, I think more and more Chinese in China, and they will be able to speak English, and then they will kind of um, speaking English in also with their own accent. Yeah, just like we are Chinese, and then uh, the accent we speak using English will be different. And maybe at that time in the future, we will have uh, English, and then the accent is Chinese. Yeah, and then we will continue using it. Um, and we don't have to, yeah, we don't have to speak as well as those Westerner. We can maintain our accent just like in some Asian country like Hong Kong or Singapore or Taiwan, yeah, actually we speak English with our own accent in Malaysia also.
Okay,
Yep.
the first thing is it's not we need this is not about the future. It's happening already, and
Mm.
it's already happening. It's already happened. Like in Singapore, yeah, Singapore, their primary language is English,
Mm.
and they can speak very very well.
Yeah.
Even an auntie, they can speak English very well,
Mm.
maybe better than us. But
Yeah.
the essence uh, is 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 totally 100% pure Singapore style.
Mm.
Mm. So it's mixed. You can say mix. Sometimes it mix Malay. Sometimes it mix Chinese.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the dialect, right?
Mm. Yeah, and the accent is sometimes near to the Malay. Sometimes the it's near to the Chinese. Sometimes it's near to the dialect.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but can you say this is not the English? This is still an English.
Mm.
Yeah. And do you think they are able to speak with a native speakers? They're able to speak with the Westerns, the Caucasian. They're
Mm.
able to to know what the Caucasian trying to say.
Yeah.
They can speak with a Briton.
Yeah.
They can
Yes.
speak with the Indians. Mm,
Mm.
yeah, and
Yep.
yeah, they just have their own essence.
Mm. Yeah. This is also the purpose of language. We use it as a tool of communication.
Yeah,
And yeah, so what I want to say is in China, because they are a very big market. So right now they still haven't like they still didn't have an options like English and then bracket China or Chinese. But right now they already have like English and then bracket Singapore or India. Yeah, they already um, categorize it into uh, one accent.
you know why?
Because China they still use Chinese.
They,
Uh,
they they still use Chinese as a primary language. This is the
yeah,
official language.
yeah,
Like in Malaysia, the official language is Malay. So we don't have like Malaysia English.
mm,
Mm.
yeah,
But after you change the official language to English, then uh maybe not more than 5 years or not more than 3 years, you will have Malaysia English.
mm,
Because uh the world need to give it a category. Need to give
yeah,
it a category because this is an official language, but this is not the exact same English that we use in the Western country.
mm,
So they give it a
yeah,
name, and the name is not that important.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
and you won't, and yeah, maybe the names. Uh, okay, and if this is not our mother language, we may think, wow, the name is a proud. Mm. But if this is your mother language, let's say, can you
yeah,
imagine we have a Western Chinese, we have a American Chinese, we have a British Chinese. Is it weird? I feel so weird.
uh,
Indian Chinese.
oh, you mean the Chinese language?
Yeah.
Oh, mm, yeah,
Mm. So in my humble opinion, the name mm, is 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 totally uh unimportant.
mm,
The key point is whether you can understand what other what the people what other countries what other country people say by using the same language.
yeah,
If you are able to do that, yeah, then that's good. And
mm,
okay, and first, will you classify Singapore as native speakers, uh, the people who live in Singapore,
Mm.
who are English native speakers.
Actually, for me, I would say half half, and I actually I don't know the reality in Singapore, and because I read some of the article, and from the article I know that they say even in Singapore, um, uh, people still many people in many families, they still use Chinese to speak with each other, and then not many, maybe a part of a part of the people, a portion of people, and then many of the people, they use English in the public, and actually in their mind they still have the the Chinese language thinking mindset. I mean, they use English, but they are translating from their from Chinese language. Yeah. You're now in Singapore, and you have been there for uh, quite a long time, right? So,
Mm.
what do you think? I think it's half half.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Uh, but even okay, I should say like this: you can't speak a fluent English if you keep using the Chinese mindset. You can say Singaporean, they have two mindsets. One mindset when they are using Chinese, one mindset when they are using English.
Mm.
Yeah. Uh, okay. Uh, are you are you using Chinese mindset to having the English conversations?
Um, Before this, I I let's say in the first few months of our conversation, at that time I think is totally from Chinese because I stopped. Uh, I have a lot of pause, and then keep thinking what to say, and then that is exactly a translation from Chinese. And for now,
But now you still have a lot of posts.
yes, yes, and but sometimes I found that um, I depend less on Chinese mindset, but still, that is my mother tongue language, and I think uh, kind of a bit hard to to change it in a short time.
Yeah, but the key point is, when you are thinking, you are using, the thinking in your mind, in your brain is English, right?
Yeah.
You are using English to think the problem, to think
Um,
what other people want to say, and how you
mm,
respond, right?
yeah.
You are not
And
you are not thinking in Chinese, and then you need to convert.
mm, yeah, and it also depends on the context. Sometimes when the context is a bit unfamiliar or complicated,
Mm.
I will go to, I
Yeah, yeah,
automatically, I will go to the Chinese mindset.
yeah.
I think this is also natural.
Yeah, this is for sure, because we are not learn English since young. We are not sorry. We are not use English since we are kids. But
Mm,
Singaporean they are. Mm.
yeah,
And yeah, I would classify Singaporean as native speakers, in both language, mm,
yeah.
English and Chinese. Yeah,
Mm,
um, because uh who say you couldn't have two native speak native speaking?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can have three, you can have four.
Yes.
Yeah, and you need to know what is the definition of a native speaking. Yeah,
Mm,
in my opinion, is this is speak since you are kid, maybe since you are born.
yeah.
But many people in Singapore, they speak Chinese, they speak English. Yeah, since they are born.
Mm, yep.
And also like the Indians, maybe Indians in Singapore, Indians in Malaysia, they
Yeah.
also can speak English quite well. They also
Mm,
can speak their own language, the Indian language quite well.
yeah.
Yeah, and and yeah, sometimes at their home, they also speak English. Otherwise, how can their English so well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. So actually the key point here is you want to become okay. If your goal is okay, is want to speak like a native speaker. So at here we can see the key is actually you want to speak like a native speaker. It's not you want to become native speaker because you are not able to become native speaker anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't speak since you're born.
Mm.
You can never become a native speaker.
Yep.
Yeah, unless you unless you have next life, you can
Mm.
choose your next life. Mm.
Yeah.
So the key here is you want to improve your English in order to speak like a native speaker.
Mm.
And you want to speak like a native speaker doesn't mean that you have to become native speaker.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a more proper way to say that is to be able to speak with a native speaker.
You can speak with a native speaker. Yeah, just like you can speak with Singaporean, you can speak with the 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 uh the US residents.
Mm.
Mm. You just cannot speak fluently, very
Yeah.
smooth with them.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. And then also I like the part that you mentioned just now, the perfectionism. Yeah, I also came across this word a few days ago when I'm looking for uh, information to read uh, regarding the self-esteem topic. Yeah, really for the dependent type of self-esteem, uh, one of the symptoms is perfectionism.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and perfectionism uh is one independent topic in the happiness. Uh, the which is the positive psychology I
mm,
that I learned. Mm. Maybe in future we can have some discussion. I think we have one similar topic, is it? If I'm not wrong. Yeah, which is about perfectionism. Mm.
I forgot already.
Never mind.
Mm.
Okay, so anything else?
Yeah, I think no for this topic.
Okay, so that's all for our today conversation. How do you feel? Did you enjoy the conversation? Please tell us what you think about conversation. If we are not native speakers, if you found any vocabulary mistake that we make, please also comment to let us know because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like and subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.